potential for this Ursa on top of that with all of the hold you do have on Talon's end. And I think for the side of Salvation, there's some pressure to play quick. You know, there's some pressure for Young God to get this really good farm going. Maybe take a pick off into Roshan and play off the tempo that the Rosh gives you over and over again. If Salvation can get that done, I think they have a good shot in getting that early power spike to ride through game one. Battle. But if it drags on, I think this just gets easier for Talon as it goes on.
Oh, I'm just watching JoeCam just pounce between trees right now in our game number one here between Talon and of course the Dar end of things. It's this monkey king, it's so dumb, man. Oh, just look at this crap. Look at this.
Are you lost?
What are we, man? What have we become? What is this? Imagine being a Dota 1 player coming back to this and being like, what have we done? What happened to Dota?
I'm just imagining you now singing Hurt. But you know, the what? John Cash version of Hurt. What have I become? No? You don't know it? No? Really? How cultured are you, Michael Phoenix? No, I'm not gonna get a copyright strike. No.
Maybe. Let's not get too cocky here, John. Your voice wasn't that good for the AI to play. Copyright, that's the best joke I've heard all year, John. Copyright strike.
The year is young, Mike. We're only halfway through. Only halfway through. Oh,
don't remind me, John.
What's JoeCam doing?
He's jumping,
doing,
John.
buddy.
Jason. 2 for 2 on the bounties. WS could actually pick up a third one, but he will not go north. So it will be allowed to be picked up here by Young God. As per usual, Jonathan, we can start off with the mid lane, where you are going to see Wonderboy up against Makoto. The Quap vs Ember matchup used to favor the Ember Spirit. I believe it's still perfectly fine here for Makoto. Wonderboy, we'll see what he gets done here, but I dare say the Ember should have a decent time.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too rough for the Ember Spirit. Again, Quap does have the range advantage, does have the spam with the Shadow Strikes, and does have lane control over the Scream, so it is a little bit more awkward for Makoto to try to play around that. He did go again for the double impact, Sleight of Fist, and we do actually have the Masochist on Wonderboy. This is going to be funny. The reflected damage back to herself is always going to be fun. This is going to be interesting from Wonderboy. The spell amp is huge, but that self damage can be it can lead to some really awkward circumstances here for the Quap sometimes.
I have played Quap a couple times in this patch. I only go for the Masochist facet because I'm a real man, Jonathan. I don't go for the other one. Facet. I don't even know the name of it because I don't care. I only go for Masochist.
I'm here all week.
It can be very awkward, though. I have killed myself a couple times using that using my spell, so not gonna lie, Wonderboy, maybe be a little bit more careful, sir.
Have to see how it pans out. Still taking a look up top, you do have JoeCam sitting in the lane, so he is not going crazy. I like what the side of Salvation is doing, just cutting the tree line, giving JoeCam less space to play his game of jump, and that does make it a little bit more awkward, but there is still good laning presence here with Darkseer and Monkey King, right? With Iron Shell up, there's some good damage, double melee lane as well to walk into. Once WS has level 3, this can really get going.
They're going right now. Sadly, JoeCam, he hit the level 2 mark, but didn't actually hit it in time. Now does go for the Boundless Strike, but it's all too late. So very good pressure being applied already by WS. Just on his own, really. I mean, JoeCam hasn't been doing too much in the laning phase at all. It's been mostly just this Darkseer, but JoeCam does move in at the right time every time, and it seems though it's working out pretty well for them. As, of course, we can talk about the final lane as well. You've got bot lane where you're going to see Rupido and Drink against Akashi and Ponyo. It seems like a pretty... Oh, they got him. It is gone.
It's this pouncy Monkey King. Just gets on top. He's so damn quick, and again, you've got some good damage. It's double melee into the Darkseer, and JoeCam still snaps the courier after anyway. So the shenanigans are still there.
As soon as he sees it, he can close the gap instantly. Like, there's no escape for him.
Gotta love it. Peak gameplay right there, Mikey. So, taking a look at the other lanes again, down 5. Yeah.
This is the most broken thing of the game. It's so dumb. He actually can't lose any couriers. Bottom lane, Ponyo might drop. When he does, Rupido is still trying to force the fight, but Akashi's just sapped all the damage away. Hits the bash to the deep, but it won't matter. Rupido is indeed down. So a nice little trade there for the side of Talon down at bottom lane. I think if MK stays the way it is with this facet, it's going to be literally the most busted support in the game.
I think it is. It's got to be banned. Would you say it's more busted than Witch Doctor? Would you rather ban Witch Doctor or Monkey King?
In my pub games, Witch Doctor, but in pro games, like you can't play against this. Like you're playing with no couriers in your lane.
It's got to be banned. It's both of them. So that's 2 bans already eaten up by second pick. It makes it rough. The first pick is in such a strong position because of all these instant bans that have to come in. Gives much room to first. Still, again, a pretty strong start coming out for Talon. Their lanes are going well. Mid lane from Mikado, looking back at it, is still in a pretty good spot. Dojo for 0-2-2 is working Sleight of Fist with the double impact quite nicely to pressure onto Wonder Boy. Mind you, Wonder Boy is not lagging too far behind and is pulling ahead in CS. You do have this launching point again off the Quap, but you do have Jokam sniping couriers. He's again finding that impact on the Monkey King.
In the span of the last 50 seconds, I just want to say, by the way, maybe even 20 seconds, he took a Watcher, secured Water Rune from Makoto, and sniped his courier. That was, I want to say, maximum 15-20 seconds. That was what Joe came, and that was all the way from the top lane. Like, he went all the way from the top lane, did all that stuff, and killed his courier on top. What a stupid hero.
It's like Monkey King has a WTF cheat code with Blink. Right?
Yeah,
it almost
that's
feels that way.
literally it.
It's kind of insane. It's funny though. It's very funny. It's not as funny as when Shanks did it and just sat in base and sacked his off lane.
You know, do you see why he's heading up top, by the way, John? Look, his ward's just seen that courier of the Ursa. Like, okay, he's going to get his items, but guess what? I'm going to get all that bonus gold, plus you're not going to have a courier for the next minute and a half. Enjoy your game, Mr. Ursa. Now, that courier is as good. There is no escape for that courier. It is as good as dead.
It almost feels like Marcy is a counter to Monkey King. Just because of the added level in the courier, right? The added hit point. that's taking a bit too far. Marcy.
Your couriers to run faster.
I don't think that could come into play at some point. We could actually see Monkey King versus Marcy at some point in this qualifier. And we'd be like, wow, that level up on the courier sure saved its life with an additional HP point. Whoa.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, Monkey King, Spirit Breaker support duo. Throw Monkey King in the pos 5. Screw him. Like, give Spirit Breaker pos 4 with the XP bonuses on the innate ability that Monkey King can always catch up. And with the vision you get with Tree Dax, you always have a backup target with the charge. I'm telling you, that is the most broken.
That is true.
It's got to be it's got to be the combo of TI-13. I guarantee it.
That is true. That is true. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward if any of these teams figure that out. So you get the go-ahead. Salvation has fixed their connection. Of course, shout out to Young God. I believe he is playing from home, which means he's playing in Davao City. Shout out to everyone watching from Davao City. I don't know why I just did that, but they're my homeboys, mate. I have an excuse because there's someone here. It's a nice city.
I like that.
Quaint.
It was a nice
I don't know if you'd call it quaint, but I think it's quaint.
It was my wife's favorite city in the Philippines, so I'll give you that.
Really?
It was. She liked Davao the best.
I thought you'd like Makati a little bit more. Slow down, bot. They're not gonna like this.
Moving in. Rupido, he's going to be alright, but Drick, probably not so much. It's like, wait a minute, I just saw Joe Cam up at top lane just a second ago. How did he get hit? Here he is. Off he goes.
Just like that. I like the shake-up from Joe Cam. It's the full potential of what the Monkey King could be, right? Not just focusing on career sniping and winning the lanes that way, but just using this vision, using this mobility to look for these pickoffs. They've got a good solo lane for WS to play with, although he's in a bit of trouble right now with the Surge gone.
He's in a lot of trouble. Problem is Rupido's in even bigger trouble. They still find a great trade across the map. Like, you kill off WS, sure, but Rupido will drop on the slider, and even Wonder Boy's being watched now. There's Joe Cam going to be spotted by the vision of Tree. He just gets a T-wall. He just T-walls immediately. He was just standing there watching Drick put that wall down. So now there's no ward for the mid lane, and Drick's going to die on top of it because why the hell not? Cam's trying to move in. Watching out for Wonder Boy, of course. Drick still okay. Wonderboy is going to eventually move in, I think, as they will miss the Primal Spring. Joe still being spotted out, does have to back up, but now Wonderboy's in trouble. He'll find at least the tree protector and does actually make it away. For now, but Joe still chasing them down, by the way. He's not done yet, but he has no trees to jump, so he has to leave.
That's actually pretty big for Salvation. He managed to snag away the amp damage from Mikado as well, and Akashi's all alone.
Dire's middle
That's a big
tower
one.
is under attack.
That's a big one. They found the +1 raise. So maybe these shenanigans, I mean, they might be distracting just a little bit for Talon as well. Yeah, Joe still hanging around mid lane here with Mikado.
I do feel like this target prioritization is correct. Just try to pressure this Quap, prevent the early build-up.
Dire's courier
Wonderboy
has
is
been
rushing a
killed.
Dagon, so in order to really play with that spell amp you do get with a Masochist, which is a nice solution overall. But I'm keen to seeing how much it can get done here for Wonderboy, all things considered. You are still having a decent time for Akashi, despite the death. He is still up there in that works. You are getting a much freer lane for Young God up top at the least. So there is that, like the solo lane up against WS, you can just sit back and farm. Wondering how confident Talon is in just allowing this Ursa to farm. They should know that this is going to be a Battle Fury build anyhow. It will take time anyways for the Ursa to really be a threat with Battle Fury blink timing. And that's something they can capitalize. Maybe look for the tier 1 top while some pressure is applied bot. As it looks like Salvation is starting to clump around that bot area now. Actually already hanging back to just keep the farm game, and they will just seemingly go for the tower trade, although there is an opportunity onto Mikado, but the wards are still protecting. No sentries on Lloyd. It's not like they can really jump onto that Ember at the moment.
Is under attack.
I wonder what power rune he gets. No amp damage opportunity. Maybe an Arcane could give Mikado a lot of play here.
Does get a regen. Not the action rune you're
Radiant's bottom
for here,
tower
but it's
is under
something, as they are
attack.
going to find Lloyd. Still the cutest thing, by the way, John, from Joe Cam. I'll tell you in just a moment, as Lloyd. Nice little toss from onto Mikado, I suppose. Wonderboy probably not too happy about it, though, as Mikado eventually just going to be able to retreat. Again, he does have a regen rune available, so doesn't really care about all the damage that was dealt to him. Just pops the regen, and he'll be perfectly fine to stay in the mid lane. So Joe Cam for a moment pressed the twin gates, and I was like, why? Just run across the map, sir.
Dire's
Cheap.
middle tower is under attack.
Here we go. Look at this. Wonderboy. In case you weren't aware, sir, the MK could be here at any moment. They're going to be to support him. They've got the Monkey King. They'll toss it back to Wonderboy. Joe Cam will finally pay for his sins, or maybe not, as Mikado was trying to move in to secure the kill, but not quite. They'll get the one.
Get the freebie. It does take quite the attention on mid. This move just find Monkey. Bring up top, Young God.
That's a big pick off. Try to make the run, but when Theod Rage is off, it doesn't really matter. Akashi will have his way with him. Suddenly that top tier 1 tower, of course, just not gonna last. It's gone.
Dire's
Nothing you can do about it. But even Wonderboy in the Quap doesn't really have any rotation plays to make either. Like,
Dire's middle tower
kind of the thing with mid Quap at the moment, you just need so many levels and at least one core item before you can really make these big rotations happen. He is going for the Dagon, by the way, which makes enough sense because it will basically ruin the outgoing spell damage reflected here on the Quap with the spell lifesteal of the Dagon, but before that Dagon's up, he doesn't really have any game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Might be able to punish WS.
This is up. US does have a TP to play with. He can actually just TP away, and Boundless will ensure they have no follow-up. No Sonic Wave to come out. Beautiful Boundless strike from Joe Cap, and that's going to be about it. WS is fine.
This Monkey King's doing way too much. This hero just does way too much across the map. This movement he has is... It's definitely going to get nerfed at some point for sure. I think you just can't have that. Feels like a free kill. WS is solo, suddenly it's not. You can scout out these stacks, spotting out Drick.
He's had a pretty rough time as it is here on the Shadow Demon, but will once again go down. Mikado able to pick up his second kill of the game already. Wonderboy, mid lane, currently being watched. Keep in mind they only have level 2 chains on Mikado, but that could be enough to actually lock him down. Won't though, Mikado won't bother throwing it out, but they can just look towards the tier 1 tower. Siege creep available. They've got plenty of vision being provided by Joe Cap. A tier 1 mid tower, it's as
Dire's
good as
middle
gone.
tower has fallen.
This is just surgical so far from Talon. It really is. Like, there's just... You know, the laning stage has gone absolutely horribly here for the Dire.
There's not much play. Again, the best lane they had was probably Wonderboy's mid. And the Dagon is slowly forming up. So there is that burst to play with the spell lifesteal to offset that reflected damage, as you mentioned. I just don't think you're finding enough in Young God, right? Like, this Battle Fury is still 2 parts away. Not too bad in the recipe, but Claymore certainly is going to take more time. After that, you're going to need Blink. You're going to need a BKB perhaps on top of it. Akashi's already on his way to his Manta. He's going to feel a little bit more protected. You've got level 6 up already as well on Ponyo. So the Overgrowth is available on hand. They are smoked out here on the side of Salvation. One big thing, again, like we talked about in draft, Tiny does feel like you need that Blink to really be effective. Although I suppose with a Shadow Demon, you can start with the Disruption first.
Bounty.
The problem is they're just not leveled enough, I don't think. They're 5k behind already, and Lloyd is the first one to get caught, but he will go for a toss play onto Makoto. Makoto is actually blown up. Alright, Makoto is completely annihilated here by Rupido with the toss back setup. A very nice start for the side of Salvation Gaming. The rest of Talon, of course, not looking to go too much further, but they will at least get the stacks away here in the triangle of the Dire. So ultimately, you lose your Ember, you find a Tiny, not the greatest trade, but you still get a lot of farm for yourself. Well, for the side of the Dire, I mean, Wonderboy might just be dying here because he just went right into them, not realizing they were right behind, and he is gone. Very bad news. All this Dire end of things, the Salvation Gaming will lose their own mid lane now.
It's actually harder to find that as well. So a nice little pickup. I think his illusion actually managed to get the last right click off that was chasing earlier. And that offsets it. 9-6, 6k lead for Talon. Smooth going so far. Again, this is a lot of space out for Young God on the Ursa, but this has to pay off. Like, once this Battle Fury's up, one has to accelerate into at least the Blink, then try to look for a pickoff into a quick Roche. And that's the point when Salvation can start to feel like they're back in control of this game. Cool.
Case is on now for the Tiny. Poor old Lloyd. I mean, he's got no help. Not really. No can't see. I think he's one of the courier. Lloyd. He's got nothing he could have done about that, as Makoto in the meantime on the right side of the map actually just taking on Rupido on his own. Wonderboy and Drink are both around Makoto, forcing out the Demonic Purge, but he's okay to just run it out of it. The Purge is on cooldown for nothing really. That'll be unavailable for another minute. And now suddenly you've got Jocam hunting down Wonderboy once again. Rupido's right around the corner and there is a blink away. So Wonderboy's fine. Look, they're already onto that tier 2 mid tower. Just no chill right now from this Radiant end of things.
Radiant are scanning.
Slow, progressive gameplay, picking the objectives, finding these wins,
Dire's
cutting
bottom
off
tower
map
is
control
under
from the
attack.
side of Salvation. Salvation all clumped up by that tier 2. And this is space for the Ursa, but not space for anyone else. Rupido, his progression, will have the blink soon. That gives you more options here. Ideally, you'd want to tie that in with a tiny blink, but still a ways off for Lloyd, considering the slower game. Talon's part, you already Mage Slayer up in Mikado, cutting off a lot of the burst damage you want to play with on Wonderboy. But that kind of takes off that facet entirely. You've got, again, Akashi already up with Manta, going into a Linken's just to protect from the Demonic Purge. They're keeping all the lanes shoved in. They're making it hard to access across the map for Salvation. They're making it hard to even just play in your own jungle here for Salvation Gaming as well. It's all down to all of this vision and movement that you have with an Ember and Monkey King.
Dire are scanning.
Still waiting very, very patiently here, Salvation. It's just very hard to find an opening. There's just none to come. They'll get a scan off onto WS, but they even get the jump in. Rupido's going to blink up, but this is still very risky. He'll go for it eventually, but it's very, very hard-hearted. The Wukong's commander will come out. The wall is dropped. Young God is going to try and jump in, but there's the overgrowth down there from Ponyo. They'll drop a huge Sonic Wave onto 4 heroes, but Young God's been left behind. It's just so forced. Wonder Boy trying to run, blink up in 1 second. He does get it away. The Joe Camp can just hunt him down. There's really just no escape. He gets the blink, but the Spirit Vessel's still going. And again, Joe Camp's going to give you all the vision. They don't even need it. It was just a very forced fight. Like, you could tell Rupido did not want to jump in. He does it, you know, unwillingly, it almost looked like, and it does cost them 3 heroes.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure on Salvation. You know, I get what's happening to them. Like, they feel like things need to happen. They feel like they need to be able to take this fight into Roshan, try to retake control of the map. And they feel like they have decent information. They did have some good wards to try to set up, but Talon has their own wards as well on the ramp. They knew the angle being taken. Again, when it comes down to these wider team fights for Talon, it's Overgrowth, Wukong's back wall. It's just so much easier for Talon to play a big 5v5 engage, whereas for Salvation, they need to look for pickoffs. And if you're looking for pickoffs, this Darkseer with an early Guardian Greaves, it's not the target. It's just too tanky for you to get that first play off and hope that you can retreat in time.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Now just slowly being chipped away at. Like, there's just nothing that Boys can really do about it at the moment. Salvation desperately just trying to get some initial farm going on their cores, but it's still just such a stretch for them.
Are fortified.
You've got the Battle Fury up on the Ursa, but he's just trying to get towards that blink to actually be able to be active. You're still always going to have the issue of Akashi on this Razor just being an absolute menace towards this Ursa in the middle of a fight. It's going to be a two-man smoke here from the side of Talon. But we'll kind of just leave this, trying to bait the other side in. Void will move in on the Tiny, and so will the Queen of Pain.
Radiant are scanning.
God's going to show up in the mid lane, and this could be actually bait from Salvation's end of things, but it doesn't seem like it's going to really be taken. Talon instead going to head back up top, allow Akashi to just take that tier 2 top tower, and there'll be no fight to come. Like, just take the top tier 2 for free.
It's very, again, very stable, calculated game out from Talon. Salvation just looking for this catch-up, looking for these timings, looking for that additional blink on Lloyd and on Young God, which is fairly close, to be fair. But they are losing a lot of ground. Some really sneaky wards coming out here as well, watching in the deeper jungle up top from Ponyo. None of the tier 1s falling yet because you are up against a Treant Protector who can just shove out these lanes. Heck, no living armor up to even heal these towers. Just good clearance. Like, you haven't had room for Salvation to even cross the river. At 18, 19 minutes in, all of these towers are still fairly healthy. Even if you get these blinks, I'm not sure if you can really find Roche off the back. You will need kills. They are trying to move in.
There is vision here from the Radiant Net as well. Don't forget, Makoto standing right on top of this water. They do try to jump in, but a nice line of fits, and now the back wall! Oh, they caught 4 of them! They have caught all 4! Lloyd is already gone. Everyone else just needs to get out. It is not safe, and Makoto will continue hunting them down. Miss out on Rupido, but it won't really matter. Now they're looking at the mid-tier 2 tower. This isn't exactly a draft that you expect to take tier 2 towers this early on, but they are just dominant in the game so much so that they will.
It's just uncomfy. Salvation, they have no teamfight options outside of a huge crush or a huge avalanche out. And beyond that, it's almost all single target focused. So they can't fully commit for these fights. Overgrowth is still available for Talon as well. And the options are just very limited. They need to have that confidence on Ruka to jump in with Wonderborn and burst someone down.
Lloyd, he's going to toss in Ponyo, but Ponyo is easily going to go for a nice overgrowth out, killing off Lloyd. Wonderboy will run, Drink's in trouble. Wonderboy still being chased down here by Akashi. The blink range was not quite long enough, but it won't matter. They'll go after Drink instead. Take down the easier kill, the Shadow Demon. At this stage of the game, it's really starting to just feel like Salvation Gaming. They can't even get out of their base at this point, John.
No.
Like, you go past that T2 tower, you're just dead.
We've got the full auras up in WS, full pipe now ready. So even that AoE burst that can come out from Wonderboy is not going to feel as amazing. And Talon just have complete control. They haven't gone back to their side of the map. Another smoke out for Talon. See if they find anything. Salvation trying to go for a long smoke,
Dire's
trying
middle
to sneak a
tower is
Roshan
under
now,
attack.
but at blink on Young God. And this can be a
Dire's
factor.
middle tower has fallen.
Doesn't take too long with a Corrosive Haze once that's applied here. It can catch Talon off guard, but I think in a vacuum, 2 lives on the Ursa isn't the biggest threat. Not yet. Not without BKB.
It feels like you're more so denying the Aegis away from Talon than anything. Like, because yeah, the double life on Ursa means nothing at the moment for Young God. If anything, it's just going to be a farming Aegis. WS, in fact, might just find him in a moment. Darksea narrowly missing out as Young God does decide better than going for that young, rather the small camp. I call it a young camp for a second. I guess, in theory, it is a young camp, John. You know, they are young boys down there.
That is fair, but that just makes Young God sound like a monster. The Young God coming to the young camp, killing the younglings. That's quite the vision, Mike.
It is very terrifying.
What do you think of Mike at night? What do you dream of? What sneak? Why do these thoughts intrude on your mind, Mike?
My dreams died long ago, Jonathan, when we
Dire's
started
bottom
casting.
tower.
I'll tell you right now. I haven't dreamed ever since. Let me tell you.
Oh, Lloyd?
Lloyd's had a tough time. So is Rupido. Ponyo's going to have a great time overcrowing both these blokes in just a second as he does only find Rupido. But that's the main target you want anyway. Remember that Monkey King that wasn't laning, John? Joe Camp's actually doing a lot of damage right now as Lloyd's in trouble. And Lloyd is probably set to fall. He'll go for a quick toss away. Ponyo's still in the chase. Gets the root off. Hands up here from Lloyd. At least he has a, you know, he's got a good attitude here, John. He'll have a laugh with himself. Bottom lane, I believe they saw the Ursa there for a second, but he does TP away in time. But in the meantime, of course, mid tier 2 tower does drop here thanks to Talon. And the only outer tower left standing is actually the bottom lane, where you will see Akashi already making his way up.
It's a rough time for Salvation. Again, not even any tier 1 from Talon falling down. 18-7 in Talon's favor. Just feels like these timings have not lined up. They're still waiting for Lloyd's blink. You've almost gotten ulted off from Rupido, which can maybe catch Mikado off guard. We've also got the full BKB almost completed in Young God. Maybe by then, these fights can go better, and they will try with the smoke out. You're curious they use the smoke now instead of just waiting for this BKB. Around 800 gold. See if it pans out.
They're going to try for something. They've still got that Aegis up for another 2.5 minutes on their Ursa, but you just kind of question how much impact that's going to happen. That's going to have here in this game, number 1. For now, it seems like they're actually just going to try and push out some creep waves in the mid lane. Talon are showing on the map. I mean, they're all down at that bottom lane, just hitting that tier 2 tower. Apart from maybe Ponyo, who's just pushing out the top wave.
Bottom tower has
and this smoke is really just a farming smoke. Like, they'll just relocate across to the safer side of the map. Farm where they can. And just avoid Talon altogether because there's no fighting them at the moment, even with the double life up.
It's just time to try to recover, try to hit this timing back. Talon, at the very least for Salvation, they are starting to cross the river a little bit. So that
They've at least found Ponyo there for a moment, but Ponyo's actually going to survive as now Akashi gets a static blink onto Wonder Boy, who tries to blink away, but he blinks right by the base. Oh, and Akashi knew he was within perfect range for the plasma field. You had to go for a different kind of blink, like any other direction. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Top lane, Young God, he's alright, he'll barely make it out. It's just such a stretch to see them making a comeback now as it's 16k advantage, Jonathan. Pretty rough.
Yeah. Hard to see it. They do have that BKB on Young God. Please all finished up. Whether or not that's enough, I don't think so. Not really. You still have to worry about being linked up by this Razor. You've got Lincoln's coming out on Talon. Already have it on Akashi. You've got Mikado with his fully done as well. So the Demonic Purge is not going to be as much of an issue. Got the Blatant coming out for Mikado on top of that. I mean, it's just very clean from Talon. You know, not giving any openings, not playing too brash, playing it safe to their advantage. Although,
Lane. Gonna find a Yule Scepter off onto the Ursa. Young God will get locked down by the chains. The Plasma Field will connect. Young God actually just dying to the chip damage as he does actually lose his first life. Still, they will toss in Akashi, but Akashi's perfectly fine to turn around as now a big back wall. WS finding another 3 targets. Got buyback on their Shadow Demon, but what's Strick gonna do? There's nothing to be done here, John. There's no defense to be had.
Radiant structures
There
are
really isn't.
fortified.
Again, it's this lack of team fight.
Dire's middle
You
tower
need these
is under
pickoffs to
attack.
work out. It's Talon that's jumping them every single time.
Yeah, they're going. They can blink out onto Wonder Boy. He'll be able to blink away just barely. But the tier 3 mid tower, they've only given more damage to Akashi now, so Akashi takes it even faster. Still waiting to find a way to jump in and start a fight. Here is the side of Salvation. Kodo is actually just doing so much damage chipping away with the Sleight of Fist. And that's your mid-racks down at 26 minutes in. Nothing can be done to stop it.
No. Again, it's just down to how this draft works. It's very focused on just finding pickoffs, playing off of that advantage, playing off of that tempo, going into Roshan, using that to keep that tempo up. Talon never gave him the opportunity. Joakam's been such a disruptive beast on Monkey, and the coordination from Talon to get all of these team fight setups, find every single piece of control every single time, has just held the side of Salvation back. Again, they haven't taken the tier 1 here, Mike. 22-7, 21k lead, and the Radiant side of the map is just clean.
It certainly is right.
Trying to think, what can you find here that simplifies this? Like, Drake is going for a blink. Again, you still have this Orchid from Luchador into a BKB. I just don't know if BKB save you. If Ponyo just plays it patiently with his blink, Overgrowth still ruins you. Static Blink doesn't care for BKB either. It's just... It's like you have to somehow get forward vision, smoke into that spot, and punish. But that's all easier said than done. There's just no way you can sneak out of this base right now.
Sure doesn't feel like it, John. You can control the map is Talon. Leave Wonder Boy in the mid lane. Wonder Boy's going to be very careful. Boundless Strike is out. They've already committed the chains, so Wonder Boy will be okay. Cosmic Cleanse was out from his Shadow Demon just in case he needed it.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Still trying to buy Young God more and more time to give themselves a chance back into this game 1. But the bottom tier 3 is now being forced in as Makoto does land another chains out onto the Queen of Pain, but the Yule Scepter will be there. Wonder Boy now getting a static link off onto Lloyd will mean that Lloyd is just immediately dead. And tier 3 tower, of course, is really not going to last. I mean, they've got to creep skip or something. They'll get the TPs off to try and defend. Looks like they did actually take 1 creep wave out, but that's not going to be enough.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom
Tier 3
tower
tower's gone.
is falling.
To the bottom racks they go.
They did manage to get a pickoff on Jokam at the least, but doesn't change the outcome of this fight. It's some good gold to get onto Young God. Does have the Basher fully done with the BKB. Just doesn't feel like the Ursa can fully commit. Okay, he jumps in. If Ponyo just sits back with Overgrowth, you're still going to be kited around. The solutions are just hard to find for Salvation. The Rack's taken. Talon played safe. Need to repair top first before looking for that push. They could look for next Roshan as well. Akashi just getting some extra storm armor stacks done onto the Fermenter and just going to clear it out solo. Very nice. Shard for Jokam as well. He's going to be happy. Even more mobility for a Monkey King here with Boundless.
Are scanning.
And he's going for the Nullifier. He actually has the gold to just finish up this Nullifier.
Dire's middle barracks.
He has more form than
He's-
Rupido.
He's the same level as the mid-quad. That's how badly this game's going for Salvation. The Monkey King that wasn't laning is the same level right now. Here we go. Talon, they're moving in again. Smoke out. They want to go for that final lane of barracks, and they're going to find Drake. Drake does get the demonic cleanse off, but the Boundless Strike actually just doing so much damage. He almost just dies to one Boundless as Drake. It's gone. Akashi in the meantime does get a link. He's in a bit of danger. Akashi does a back wall. WS again.
Oh my god.
Not allowing it. Not giving the opening. Oh boy, another wipeout here for Salvation as they call the GG. My goodness, a dominant game one to say the very least here against Salvation Gaming.
Victory!
Do I dare ask what you think that Salvation needs to